Hello, hello, change makers. Welcome to the trailer episode of the Seller Process Podcast, the show for Amazon sellers and e commerce entrepreneurs with this one promise. After each episode, you will walk away with either a template, a roadmap, an SOP, a checklist, a flowchart, or a step by step process that you can download for free and start implementing it in your business now. Why is that so important, you ask? Look, everybody who's been in this space long enough knows that selling on Amazon or doing e commerce in general is getting more and more complex every year. The pandemic helped accelerating the expansion of online buyers. So now thousands and thousands of new sellers worldwide are jumping in the e commerce bandwagon every single month, causing unprecedented levels of competition. In some of the most crowded categories, selling online is becoming more similar to a war, especially when overseas sellers, you know who I'm referring to, play unfair tricks to win the competition. It can get brutal. High competition is also responsible to drive market prices down because everyone is trying to get a sale over their competitors. While in the meantime, advertising, PPC, and generally speaking, marketing costs are growing more and more expensive as a result. So, you know where I'm going. Lower prices, higher costs equal lower profitability for us sellers. And if that's not enough, hear me out here because I think this is one of the most important pieces to understand about the global change in the e-commerce market that is happening right now. So, since the pandemic started in 2020, several hundreds millions of dollars, if not actually billions, have been deployed by investment funds, private equity firms, and big retail conglomerates to acquire thousands of e-commerce companies around the world. They've been basically been shopping for e-com brands. And how is this impacting you as a small seller, you ask? Well, these guys have huge capital, big teams, very efficient processes and great systems to run all of those ecom brands like clockwork. They take advantage of economies of scale to drive down the cost of goods, the cost of logistics, and pretty much everything else that you normally would do just by yourself from the comfort of your room with your laptop. They have a highly paid specialists that focus all day on tiny details about the business in order to increase sales, drive costs down, and profitability up. So, these guys can be very tough people to compete with. But if you've been doing e commerce for a while, I'm sure I'm not telling you anything new here. The rules of the game are changing, and as it comes with any big change, those who will adapt will survive and reap the benefits also, while those who won't are destined to get crushed by the competition. But it's not all doom and gloom. Although there are really thousands of online sellers struggling with getting their business profitable, and many of them even fail and lose all their money, there are other companies that are actually thriving in this environment, generating millions of dollars out of their e commerce business. And that's because they understand the change that is happening. They understand the new rules of the game. They understand that to create sustainable growth for their business, they will need to act as a real business, implementing efficient systems and processes that are executed by a team of smart people, just like the big guys and the conglomerates I mentioned before are doing. So, people and processes is the mix you need to inject in your business to set yourself for exponential growth. No more solopreneurs trying to juggle all balls at once, spinning up their wheels all day until exhaustion. No more frustrations, chaos, and inefficiencies that waste our time, energy, and money. I'm talking about implementing in your business the right SOPs and systems that allows you to find profitable products, optimize them, and rank them for Amazon page one for all the relevant keywords. I'm talking about having checklists, templates, and video trainings to hand over to your team and have them execute the daily operations for you. So you can start focusing more on the vision and strategy to take your business to the next level. I'm talking about efficiency, teamwork, and predictable outcomes. And the good news here is that you don't need to be one of those big funds or conglomerates with deep pockets and big teams to do that. This is exactly why I decided to start this podcast to share with you the best methods and systems and processes used by the top sellers worldwide so you can implement them in your business right now. No chit chats. Where are you going to listen will be value packed podcast shows, which are basically short and sweet audio masterclasses with just the essential you need to know, without any of those useless conversations that are typical of some podcasts. Here, I will interview some of the best Amazon sellers and e commerce entrepreneurs, but also coaches and experts in different areas that will share their most valuable processes and systems to help us win in the e commerce game. And all of that goes with a free download on each episode that will put in your hands the exact step by step process explained during this show. I'm Gianmarco Melli, and I'm going to be the host of the show. I'm an Amazon seller like you, and I've spent 5 years in multiple e commerce businesses, having started my own e com platform back in China, where I lived for 6 years in Shanghai. A quote I like to cite, which you will often hear in this podcast, is we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. This is very powerful. In my entrepreneurial journey, this has been the foundation of one of the most important mindset shift I've made. So much so that I've enrolled and graduated from the Run Like Clockwork Accelerator, a special coaching program founded by bestseller author Mike Michalowicz and efficiency expert Adrian Dorson, which is inspired by the methodology explained in the book Clockwork. So my goal with this podcast will be to share with you the best methods, systems, and processes that I'm using in my business, and especially the ones that are that the special guests that I'll be interviewing on the show are using. Keep in mind that all the episodes are prepared in advance. So, in order to leave you only with the best content in a format that is short and value packed. So, you can find our show in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all the other major podcast platforms, and YouTube as well. And for additional resources, show notes, and extra content and videos, you can visit www.thesellerprocess.com. That's www.thesellerprocess.com. I hope the content you will find here will help you generate the impact you want to create in your life and business. So, without further ado, let me welcome you to the Seller Process podcast. Enjoy the show. Cheers.